Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. This one will be about the World vs. World Power Reaper build, and in this video I will try to teach you and explain to you, while showing you my gameplay, how to deal damage, how to maximize your damage with this class, both in ranged with the staff and both in melee with the shroud and the axe and so on, and the wells of course. Let's start. Okay, here we are not very close to the enemy blob yet, so I decide to press the skill 2 and 3, which are less damage than the skill 4. I want to make sure to hit the skill 4 because it's highest damage staff skill. So let's see. They are all unblockable because of the trait I choose on solo reaping trait line, as you saw in the build video I posted before this video. Skill 4 you see also almost like 5k and 300 also. I mean, it's very big damage and it's unblockable, so it's very good. Okay, then the skill 5 for ACC because I had nothing left. The enemies start coming here. I swap to axe focus because staff had everything on cooldown and the enemies are coming. And this weapon set is more, even if it's still ranged, it has a melee skill, which is the skill 3, and also the skill 2 and the skill 1 are less ranged than the staff, and they are not AoEs. And so it's just to do some damage while I wait to go shroud and using wells, of course. So the enemies comes, I press the skill 5, you saw 6k, then I press the wells, the elite, chill to the bone for the stun and also stability and some quickness. Skill 2 on a single target. Skill 3 because it is an AoE around you, big AoE around you, corrupting boons and also dealing damage, as you saw 5k here. And also it triggered a secondary explosion because the target was below 50% health and the secondary explosion dealt 6k. Then the skill 6. Then I use the spectral armor because I am ready to go in shroud since we are going melee. And you see in shroud the first skill I press is the skill 4 because the enemy is not super close. The skill 4 has a radius of 300 compared to the auto attacks, which are 170. So it's almost double the range around and all around you, and the enemies are scattered like here, and in front of me. They are not only in front of me, so the skill 4 is the best, and so using it is the best choice, of course. And since it will go on cooldown, I will reset the cooldown with the auto attacks after, so I take the maximum utility from the auto attacks. Of course they deal huge damage, but also they give me a cooldown reduction on the third hit of the chain. I use the skill 4. As you see, my life force keeps pulsing because once every second, if I get hit, I get like 10% of my life force with the spectral armor, which is being activated before I went on to shroud. As you see here, this buff right here. Then skill 2 to close the gap onto them, and you saw like the 10 first hits are like 0 damage almost, and then the last hit, if it hits in an AoE around you at the end of the spin, it will do a big damage, as you saw 5k here too. I also pressed the skill 3 before because it will give me some stability. Then here I start auto-attacking everything. Auto-attacking is almost every time overlooked by people. People just press the skill 4 and leave the shroud, but you gotta stay in shroud for the auto-attacks, which are a huge damage dealer, but you have to be very close to the enemy. As you see, 7k, a simple auto-attack, and also the third chain of the auto-attack will give us some life force. Okay, here I finish the life force. I have many conditions of me, but the enemy is done. As soon as you exit shroud, if you are on staff, you should press the skill 4 because it's the highest damage skill, of course. If you are in axe focus, you should press the axe 3 because it's the highest damage on the axe. It's an AoE around you, and it will remove some wounds, and it will also trigger secondary explosions if the targets are below 50% health. So you see skill 3 of the axe. I cancelled it, it was a mistake. I thought it would cast, but it didn't. So I pressed another skill and I cancelled. Then I immediately swapped to staff and pressed the skill 4, trying to down the enemies running around here. 6k. I didn't down him, but I helped with it. Then we are chasing here. The enemies are gone. Okay, this fight is done. Let's go to the next. Here we are ranged situation. I already pressed the skill 4, 5, 2, 3. We are going melee. I swap. I use the skill 3 from too far, and I actually only hit a pet, so I should have kept this skill. Let's go more. I am using the skill 2 on the closest target, because I can't reach these targets up here with the skill 2. Your highest range skill on the focus is the skill 5, by the way. I use it on this single target to remove 3 wounds from him, and also deal a big damage on him, and help to kill him. Skill 5, you saw how much I dealt, and we managed to down him. So it's one less enemies. And now we chose to go up. I cast the wells, one here and one here. When I see they are going there, I swap to Shroud and I press the skill 4 again as the first skill, because the enemies are scattered around, and then it will go in cooldown, and I will reset the cooldowns slowly with the auto attacks third chains. So skill 4 to hit everything. You can move during the skill 4. You should move to actually hit everyone. Then some auto attacks on the down end here for some life force and skill 4. Don't forget to click spectral armor before you enter Shroud, so you will get this thingy pulsing your life force on you. Then I used the skill 2 because I was far from the enemies, and you saw the last hit was like 9k on this downed guy. Then some auto attacks to finish off, and the fight was done. Then here another fight, which I remember I did some mistakes here, but I will cover them and I will try to fix them on me. Okay, here skill 3, skill 4, skill 5, skill 2 for damage, CC, of course. Here I swap. The enemies are coming. The commander didn't call the wells here, if I remember, but I still used them. It was a mistake, since wells are good if they are coordinated. You have to have all your blob casting wells, which are unblockable, and hopefully you will down enemies with like 1k per necromancer, can make like 10k in 1 second. So you should keep them when when the commander calls them. Let's go more. Skill 3. I hit some of them. It has a big AoE, you see. Okay. Skill 2 on this guy who is behind. I try to press the skill 5. No, it didn't work. And then I rush on them, even if the commander said to not rush on them, but to wait. I joined this fight, I pressed the skill 4, I hit like 2-3 guys, which is not optimal. I should hit 5 guys at least. And then I'm almost done with my life force, and I need to go back. And now the real fight starts, and I don't have the life force. But it's okay, because I can make it back with the kills. Now here, skill 4, of course. I had blindness, and you saw I transferred the blindness, since the skill 4 transfers 3 conditions above everything else. Then I use every spell I can, because I have nothing. I have the cooldown on the swapping weapons, and I have cooldown on Reaper Shroud. But if you had the Reaper Shroud, you should have gone Reaper Shroud here. But I wasted it earlier. Skill 6, which is an AoE damage skill, and it gives you life force. As you see now, I'm full life force again, but I still have the skill 4 on cooldown because I didn't lower the cooldown with my skill 1 auto attack chains earlier, because I used the skill 4 and ran back to the Zerg because I was dying, so it was a bad move. Now here, fill in with your auto attacks. As you see, they are very good damage. Look, the third chain did 10k to that downed guy. See, 1, 2 and 3, 10k here, 6k to this guy, and also the third chain will lower the cooldowns of the other shroud skills and will give you life force. Then I rush into them with the skill 2, since the fight is basically over. I fill in with some auto attacks. Skill 4 is ready again, I just use it to clip them and hit everyone, and the fight is done here. And then let's see this fight. If I think this is not interesting. Okay, actually, let's go from here. We rush onto the enemies. I use the skill 3 because it's melee, and maybe I should have kept it for this, but I will go on Shroud. I think my mind thought, okay, I will go on Shroud, but first I will use the skill 3 and every skill I have, because the wells are almost up, and I recommend you to use wells before going Shroud, because you will get some damage modifiers like 300 ferocity, 10% more damage, 15% more critical damage, if I remember, on the soul reaping. So always use the Shroud before going, always use the wells before going into Shroud. Skill 4, which is the highest damage. I press Well of Suffering and I'm ready to go Shroud. There is a group behind us and I chase them with the skill 4. You see big damage on them and also poison, of course. Then I start out attacking them because I have nothing left, and also because it's the best option to auto attack them on Shroud, which is basically unlimited damage. Then I swap back because they are all scattered around, and I chose to hit them with the skill 3, which is a big AoE around you. And this fight is done, and the other fights are very similar to this I just commented, so I will not go any further. Please leave a comment if you think this build and this gameplay was correct to you, or if this was useful, if you have something to point out, or point out some mistakes I did, or what you would change and why. And also don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe to show me you like my work. Thank you for watching and see you on to the next video.